Here are a few facts about the author of today's story. Chris Van Allsburg was born on June 18, 1949. He was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan. He was a second child of Richard and Doris Christian Van Allsburg. When Chris was born, his family lived in an old farmhouse. His family then moved to a new house at the edge of the Grand Rapids when Chris was 3 years old.
His family later moved again to East Grand Rapids. Van Allsburg attended the College Architecture and Design at the University of Michigan, which at the time included art school. He majored in sculpture, learning bronze casting, wood carving, resin molding, and other techniques. While Chris focused on sculpture, he struggled for time in the studio and began to sketch his ideas at home. His wife thought he was good, that his drawings of ideas would make good illustration for children's books.
After his wife showed his pictures to a children's book editor, he wrote the first book, The Garden of Abdul's Ghazia. In 1979, several of Chris Van Allsburg's books have been made into movies. In 1995, Jumanji, the story of a board game, came to life on the big screen. And in 2004, today's featuring The Polar Express came to the big screen. Welcome, parents and guests, to Studio 211. We are reenacting a favorite holiday classic, The Polar Express, written and illustrated by Chris Van Allsburg. If you would like to comment or see it again, it will be posted on Mr. Monastery's YouTube channel. We hope you enjoy the play. Oh, I must go. I don't want to be late for the Polar Express, but Merry Christmas!
On Christmas Eve, many years ago, I lay quietly on my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I was slowly silent. I was listening for a sound a friend had told me I never hear. The ringing bells the Santa said.
There's no Santa!
My friend insisted, but I knew he was wrong. That night I did hear sounds, though not of ringing bells. Outside came the sounds of hissing steam and squeaking milk. I looked through my window and saw a train standing perfectly still in front of my house.
It was wrapped in an apron of steam. Snowflakes fell lightly around a conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars.
Oh my! He took a large pocket watch from his vest, then looked up at my window. I put on my slippers and robe. I tiptoed downstairs.
Oh, la bar!
The conductor cried out. I ran up to him. Are you coming? Where? Why, to the North Pole, of course. This is the Polar Express. I took his outstretched hand as he pulled me forward.
The train was filled with other children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. We sang Christmas carols and ate candies with nougat centers as white as snow.
We drank hot cocoa as thick and rich as melted chocolate bars. Outside, the lights of towns and villages flickered in the distance as the Polar Express raced northward. Soon, there were no more lights to be seen. We traveled through cold, dark forests where lean wolves roamed, and white-tailed rabbits hid from our train as it thundered through the wide wilderness. We climbed mountains so high, it seemed as if we could scrape the moon. But the Polar Express never slowed down. Faster and faster we ran along, rolling over peaks and through valleys like a car on a roller coaster. The mountains turned into hills, the hills to snow-covered plains, across the barren desert, over the great polar ice cap. Disappeared in the distance, they looked like the lights of a strange ocean sailing on a frozen sea. North Pole, said the conductor.
The North Pole, it was a huge city standing alone at the top of the world, filled with factories where every Christmas toy was made. At first, we saw no elves.
They are gathering at the center of the city, the conductor told us. That is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas. Who receives the first gift, we all asked.
He will choose one of you.
Look, shouted one of the children, the elves.
From outside, we saw hundreds of elves as our train drew closer to the center of the North Pole. We slowed to a crawl, so crowded were the streets with Santa's helpers.
When the Polar Express could go no farther, we stopped and the conductor let us outside.
We pressed through the crowd to the edge of a large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sled. The reindeer were excited. They pranced, ringing silver bells that hung from their harnesses.
It was a magical sound, like nothing I'd ever heard. Across the circle, the elves moved apart and Santa appeared. The elves cheered wildly. He marched over to us and, pointing to me, said,
Have this fellow here.
He jumped into his sleigh. The conductor handed me up. I sat on Santa's knee and he asked,
Now what would you like for Christmas? I knew that I could have any gift I could imagine, but the thing I wanted most for Christmas was not inside Santa's giant bag. What I wanted more than anything was one silver bell from Santa's sleigh.
When I asked, Santa smiled. Then he gave me a hug and told an elf to cut a bell from a reindeer's harness. The elf tossed it up to Santa. He stood, holding the bell high above him and called out, The first gift of Christmas! As soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, the other children asked us to see the bell. I reached into my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost the silver bell from Santa Claus's sleigh. Let's hurry outside and look for it.
One of the children said that the train gave a sudden lurch and started moving. It broke my heart to lose the bell.
When the train reached my house, I sadly left the children. I stood at my doorway and waved goodbye. The conductor yelled something from the train, but I couldn't hear him.
Why? I yelled at him.
He cupped his hands around his mouth. Merry Christmas!
The Polar Express let out a loud blast from its whistle and sped away. On Christmas morning, my little sister Sarah and I opened our presents. When it looked like as if everything had been unwrapped, Sarah found one last small box behind the tree.
It had my name on it. Inside was a silver bell. There was a note.
Found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fix that hole in your pocket, Mr. Claus.
I shook the bell. It made the most beautiful sound my sister and I had ever heard. But my mother said, That's too bad.
Yes, it's broken, said my father.
I'd shaken the bell. My parents had not heard it.
At one time, most of my friends could hear the bell, but as years passed, it fell silent for all of them. Even Sarah found one Christmas that she could no longer hear its sweet sound. Though I've grown old, the bell still rings for me as if it does for all who truly believe. to be alone. Putting up the Christmas tree with friends who come around. It's so much fun when Christmas comes to town. Presents for the children wrapped in red and green. All the things I've heard about but never really seen. No one will be sleeping on the night of Christmas Eve, hoping Santa's on his way. Presents for the children wrapped in red and green. All the things I've heard about but never really seen. No one will be sleeping on the night of Christmas Eve, hoping Santa's on his way. When Santa's sleigh bells ring, I listen all around. The herald angels sing, I never hear a sound. And all the dreams of children, once lost, will all be found. That's all I want when Christmas comes to town. That's all I want when Christmas comes to town.
Perfect timing.
Children sleeping, snow is softly falling. Dreams are calling like bells in the distance. We were dreamers not so long ago, but one by one we all had to grow up. When it seems the magic slipped away, we find it all again on Christmas Day. Believe in what your heart is saying, hear the melody that's playing. There's no time to waste, there's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside and give your dreams the wings to fly. You have everything you need if you just believe. Trains move quickly to their journey's end. Destinations are where we begin again. Ships go starlight to get where they need to be. When it seems that we have lost our way, we find
I'm wishing on a star and trying to believe that even though it's far, he'll find me Christmas Eve. I guess that Santa's busy, 'cause he's never come around. I think of him when Christmas comes to town. The best time of the year, when everyone comes home with all this Christmas cheer, it's hard to be alone. Putting up the Christmas tree with friends who come around, it's so much fun when Christmas comes to town. Presents for the children, wrapped in red and green. All the things I've heard about but never really seen. No one will be sleeping on the night of Christmas Eve, hoping Santa's on his way. Presents for the children, wrapped in red and green. All the things I've heard about but never really seen. No one will be sleeping on the night of Christmas Eve, hoping Santa's on his way. When Santa's sleigh bells ring, I listen all around. The herald angels sing, I never hear a sound. And all the dreams of children, once lost, will all be found. That's all I want when Christmas comes to town. That's all I want when Christmas comes to town.
It had my name on it. Inside was the silver bear.
Bear?